Welcome, Sagittarius. I am Tammy Toshnik, and this is Messages for the Signs. And we begin by lighting a candle for you, Sagittarius, sending light your way. And we'll also clear the energy. Sagittarius. You've been busy. I have images of you here and there and everywhere. Fingers in all the pies. Feels like you have a direction and you are enjoying feeling like you finally know what you are going to do or how to go about it after a period of feels like sort of going whichever way the wind blew. I'd caution you though, Sagittarius, that even though when we feel like we have that direction, it always feels so good, and it is a good idea to follow that, those cues and nudges, that it's authentic to us too, because we can get so caught up in things that we're interested in and learning about new things or watching how other people do things that we end up sort of overshooting the mark is what I want to say. And we may miss what is for us by being too mesmerized is the word I want to use, too mesmerized by all that is out there. So just a word of advice, Sagittarius. What does Sagittarius need to know for the best and highest good this week? Sagittarius, building blocks, serendipity, clean it up, slow and steady, come together, and strength. The first thing I want to say is there is strength in numbers. So if you're going through a challenging time, do depend on your friends and family, other people that know or have already walked this walk, who maybe have a little more wisdom than you about this particular thing. Go to them. That's the message that I receive very clearly here. So very interesting, that intuitive nudge that that I spoke about at the very beginning, that you are sort of here and there and everywhere. Definitely building blocks here, definitely building something for the future. But it does bring me back to the point I mentioned about it being of you, your own authenticity. Make sure that whatever you're doing is yours, has a stamp of you on it. Don't just emulate other people. Emulation there isn't anything wrong with that. That's how sometimes we get started in something. We see somebody else do something and we think, wow, I would like to do that too. That feels like home to me. But then at some point it has to become our own. We have to do something different. We can't just follow along with someone else. And that's going to lead us to serendipity. The more we approach life, the more we walk through this world as ourselves in that authenticity, the more magic shows up for us. It doesn't feel forced. It feels like it's perfectly formed for us. And so I would say that's the message there. And then clean it up. So I think that's going right along with the theme that I'm feeling here for you this week, Sagittarius. Be sure that, again, this is of you, this is through you, this is from you. Again, there's nothing wrong with looking to someone else for that initial guidance, but at some point we have to really step away from everyone else and step into our own. And this is what clean it up, I think, means here. Also could speak to literal things, that there's more cleaning to do, which is true probably for just about everybody at this point. However, if I put it together with everything else here, it tells me that, yeah, there's a little, I don't know how I would put this. It doesn't feel negative. It just feels unclear, maybe. That's what it feels like. It's unclear. So we need to get very clear, very intentional. And if you don't do that, what's going to happen? Something terrible? No. You just may not receive all the opportunities, all the serendipitous moments that are meant for you and you alone. And progress from here is going to be slow and steady. Found building blocks and slow and steady work very well together, because to me it just speaks of that, something that is born of strength and authenticity. What else do I want to say? I just feel like the energy of something very, reminds me of a reading I did today for a client, but I was describing a person, and it was like steadfast. That's what it feels like responsible, steadfast, trustworthy, all those things that we want to bring into anything that we're doing, especially if we're creating a business. And this tells me that your business or whatever you're working on right now is going to be with other people. You've got to come together here. And remember, I said at the beginning, there's strength in numbers. So this isn't a solo endeavor. It feels like you need the other people for this to work. It feels like, so it doesn't feel like you're doing some kind of solo job like IT or something, Sagittarius. This feels like it's group led, and that's going to be very important. Also feels like you're bringing through sort of past energy to past groups too. So it's like the past into the present. Again, there will be growth, but it's slow and steady, and to just lean into that, it's almost comforting. When I was talking to the client today, describing this person, he had that energy as well. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because Spirit's flashing his face in my mind. And so it's telling me that that's what you're looking for. That's what you want. That's where we get this solid foundation, these building blocks. And so it's sort of like one after the other. You're placing one block down and testing it, and then putting another and testing that one. And there's something, again, comforting about that. I hope that helps you. And now we will move on to choosing your own card. Also too, Sagittarius, if I'm just looking very quickly here, these three cards all have the feminine images, I guess you could say. So I'm wondering if you're not doing something with the feminine as well. Just thought I'd throw that in there. And then you can choose your own card. We're really working by candlelight now. When I started the readings today, it was light out. That's okay. Oh, I just keep doing this. I keep trying to turn them over. But you've got to choose first. Whoa. All right, Sagittarius, would you like card 1, 2, or 3? Or you could choose 2 or 3. It's really your choice. Alrighty. Interesting. All right, so if you chose 1, you've got solitude. I don't know how much you can see now, but you've got solitude, and that tells me that in the midst of all of this creating and building, that you do need some downtime, some alone time, some rest and recovery time. There's also a possibility that what you are creating here is some type of retreat. You see this building here, building or creating a space for people to come and retreat. That's possible as well for some of you, Sagittarius, and for some of you it is more personal, or it could be both, that you are needing some alone time. And then interesting, if you chose 2, slow and steady, which of course was one of the cards in the original guidance. So this is just the reminder that slow and steady wins the race. So if things slow down, to not get too discouraged, and or it could be the prompt you need to slow down, that you may be doing too much. So these 1 and 2 are kind of similar, asking you to take a break and not do too much. And if you chose 3, you've got 1 ring circus, which is basically speaking to strength. We had the strength card as well. Interesting how these are all matching up with what we had earlier. But 1 ring circus, to me, when I see it, it just means that it's just the encouragement that you do have the strength to see this through. Also, speaking about independence. So even though I said strength in numbers, this does speak to the ability that you have the ability to do this on your own. Just maybe that's not always going to be the best way forward, but that you can do that if you wanted to do that. Alrighty, I hope that helps you, Sagittarius, and I hope to see you here next week. Take care.